Have you ever felt that weird, specific kind of tension where a private habit, something totally natural, has somehow started controlling you instead of the other way around?
Yeah.
You know, when we try to talk about reducing or quitting compulsive patterns, especially certain ones, the conversation just, it often dies before it even gets started.
It really does.
And I think it's because it's so rarely treated as a genuine health concern.
Mhm.
Instead, it gets instantly moralized or dismissed, or even worse, it's just turned into a cheap joke.
Mm. And that just isolates the person who's actually struggling.
Completely. It wraps the whole thing in so much shame that you feel like you're not even worthy of asking for help.
Right. And our mission here is to just strip all of that away. That's the first step. We have to ignore the moralizing and just focus on the mechanism.
The objective science.
Exactly. This is a deep dive into brain science,
Yeah.
dopamine, motivation, focus, and why those circuits can get stuck. And we're doing it with, absolute zero judgment.
That's right. So we're examining the source material on how reducing these patterns can have a huge effect on your mood, your motivation, and your ability to focus. We're going to unpack the chemistry of what a reset actually looks like.
Okay, so let's start at the very foundation. We are not talking about pleasure itself. We're talking about compulsion.
A really important distinction.
A critical one. Masturbation is a healthy, natural part of human life. The problem begins when it stops being a choice and becomes the automatic, the immediate go-to for emotional relief.
The shortcut out of stress or loneliness or boredom.
Any of it. When it replaces healthier ways of coping.
And that's where the conversation really shifts from just behavior to, well, neurology. We've seen cognitive neuroscientists describe this as the brain's reward center being hijacked.
That's the perfect word for it.
But wait, how does that work? If your body has these deeper needs like real connection or rest or processing grief, how does a quick dopamine fix just override all of that?
Because of its speed
Yeah.
and its reliability. Your brain is, at its core, an efficiency machine.
It wants the fastest path.
Always. So when you reach for that instant hit of gratification over and over again, you're literally teaching your brain that this is the quickest, most effective way to manage distress.
It's a high-intensity spike that just bypasses all the messy, slow work.
Exactly. The necessary work of developing real emotional resilience. Your body effectively stops listening to the quiet signals, that hum of anxiety, the ache of loneliness, and it just prioritizes the loud, fast release.
So you get locked in a loop.
A powerful one. You're doing it not because you truly want it for pleasure, but because you neurologically need the relief just to feel okay again.
That neurological need.
Yeah.
That takes us right into the chemistry of it all. We were calling downregulation.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you have that orgasm, you get this massive surge of dopamine, right? The motivation molecule.
It's the neurotransmitter for reward. It tells your brain, hey, that was good, do that again.
But here's where the brain's incredible ability to adapt actually starts to work against you.
It does. I mean, think of your brain's reward system like a sound mixing board.
Okay, I like that metaphor.
And dopamine is the volume knob for excitement and reward. If you crank that knob up to 11 every single day, maybe multiple times a day, what does the sound engineer do?
They try to protect the speakers, turn down the sensitivity.
Exactly. The brain does the same thing. It says this signal is too loud, too frequent, and it starts turning down the sensitivity of the internal speakers, the dopamine receptors. It's a protective mechanism.
So that's downregulation. And this is so crucial for you to understand because it doesn't just affect that one habit. It changes your baseline enjoyment for everything.
Precisely. If your brain is always expecting this shock and awe level of reward, then the simple, genuine rewards of daily life, they just feel muted, gray.
It takes more to feel good.
So much more. More stimulation, more novelty, more intensity, just to reach the same level of satisfaction you used to get so easily.
And this spills over, right? This lack of sensitivity makes it harder to regulate other urges, to plan things, to focus on anything that isn't an immediate reward.
Yes. Everything that requires delayed gratification feels dull because your internal reward meter is just calibrated way too high. Repetition plus overstimulation equals a hijacked reward system.
So let's say you recognize this cycle and decide, okay, I need to create some space. I need to reset. This brings us to what you're calling the withdrawal doorway.
Yes, navigating that initial phase.
And this first period, maybe the first week or two, we have to be honest, it can be really tough.
It can be.
You might feel surprisingly restless, irritable, really distracted, or find the urges are even more intense than before.
And the key thing to remember when that happens:
You're not failing.
you are not failing. That is not a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
That is the sound of your brain rebalancing itself. It's the nervous system reacting to having its main coping tools suddenly taken away.
Which raises a big question. Why is it so emotionally painful? We've seen experts in this field explain that the friction isn't really about the physical urge itself.
No, it's much deeper. It's about the nervous system being forced to confront the sudden loss of its primary tool for emotional avoidance.
So all the feelings it was masking.
They all come rushing in.
Yeah.
That intense anxiety, that profound boredom. That's the stuff, the stress, the loneliness that the habit was so successfully numbing.
And that emotional friction, that feeling of just being stuck with your own discomfort. That's what's been described as the doorway.
A beautiful and accurate term for it. It's this vulnerable, uncomfortable space where real emotional growth can actually begin.
Because you've finally taken your hand off the mute button.
You have. And the opportunity in that doorway is to learn how to just sit with those difficult feelings without immediately reaching for the familiar quick fix.
So what do you do when you're in that doorway? You just sit with it.
You sit, you practice observing it. You can label the feeling, this is anxiety, this is boredom. You replace the instant reaction with a gentle observation.
And if you can get through that doorway, that's where the real long-term benefits start to show up.
Absolutely. The biggest one is just achieving a greater awareness of your own emotional state. When you remove that hyperstimulation, you create this essential pause.
A pause to stop avoiding the hard stuff.
The necessary stuff. Instead of the old cycle, swinging between short-term relief and that post-orgasmic crash.
Which so often leads to just feeling flat and detached.
Right. The new state is about finding a stable mood baseline. You start regulating your emotions with more resilient tools: journaling, deep breathing, getting outside. You build this incredible ability to self-soothe.
And that stability, I imagine, has a huge effect on motivation.
A dramatic cascading effect. We often confuse high-intensity pleasure with genuine motivation, but real motivation is usually much quieter. It's more of a slow burn.
So this is the idea of dopamine balance.
Yes. When you stop constantly flooding that reward pathway, it becomes sensitive again. It resets its expectations. And when that happens, the small, ordinary accomplishments.
The things that felt boring before.
Exactly. They start to feel deeply satisfying. They get their color back.
So daily life gets its buzz back, in a way. The pride after cleaning your room, the reward of finishing a workout.
Yes. Completing a hard task at work gives you this sustained, motivating feeling, not just a momentary flash. Your internal compass for what's actually worth chasing just becomes so much more accurate.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the mind itself, about focus. These compulsive habits, especially when they're paired with external material, they train the brain for instant gratification, for high-speed novelty.
Which is the exact opposite of what you need for deep, sustained focus, for learning a skill or reading a book.
Right. So when you remove that cycle, what happens?
The executive control center of your brain can finally catch its breath. We're talking about the prefrontal cortex.
The command center.
A command center for focus, for decision-making, for impulse control. It just starts to regain its strength.
And the tangible benefits people report. They're pretty amazing. Better concentration, improved memory, less urge to multitask.
A noticeable increase in your available mental bandwidth. It's like you're shutting down all these background apps that were just draining your battery.
And you get that energy back for things you actually want to do.
And brain imaging supports this. When the dopamine pathway recalibrates, it has a profound effect on improving executive function. That's the core of focus and productivity.
So, to wrap this all up, the goal here, it's not about saying pleasure is bad or promoting lifelong abstinence.
Not at all. It's about fostering awareness. It's about helping you understand the point where a habit has stopped serving you and might actually be taking away from your quality of life.
That awareness alone is incredibly powerful. Even a short break, a week, 2 weeks, can give you such deep insight into your own emotional landscape.
It forces you to stop and ask the real questions.
What am I truly trying to soothe here? Is it a need for connection? For comfort? For meaning?
And that's the powerful realization. Sometimes what looks like a bad habit is really just a desperate but ultimately clumsy attempt to soothe something much deeper.
Unaddressed anxiety or loneliness?
Exactly. And just becoming aware of that underlying genuine need, that is the most powerful first step you can possibly take toward lasting change.
So, a final thought for you to take away. If you consciously create that space for discomfort, If you allow yourself to just stand in that doorway for a moment, what genuine need does your mind finally have the quiet space to tell you that you've been avoiding? Take care of your mind. And be incredibly kind to yourself as you explore that answer.